Joined here in the studio by Yuka Roya from our business desk. Good evening to you, Yuka. And we were talking there about that new deal unveiled by President Macron using international finance mechanisms. Tell us more about them.
Well, President Macron said that the deal would be designed to help African nations both in the long run and in the short term. The leaders agreed to shore up the current moratorium on debt repayment beyond its planned expiry at the end of June through the end of the year. The head of the African Union said that he hoped it would be pushed back even further to the end of 2022. Now, while debt relief is crucial for helping struggling economies to spend their money on dealing with the health crisis at hand rather than paying back their debt, another big topic was reallocating SDRs, a special pool of money at the IMF. One aim is to help produce vaccines locally for Africans. Claire Rush explains how these financial mechanisms could work.
Two mechanisms could help African economies recover from the coronavirus pandemic. Firstly, debt relief. This can include the temporary freezing of payments or suspending debt altogether if certain conditions are met. A second mechanism available for low-income countries during financial crises are special drawing rights, or SDRs, an international reserve asset created by the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, in 1969. The fund issues SDRs to its member countries' central banks as an asset they can easily exchange for hard currency with another central bank. The value of an SDR is set daily based on a basket of 5 major international currencies: the US dollar, the euro, the Chinese yuan, the Japanese yen, and the British pound. Last month, world finance chiefs agreed to increase these reserves by $650 billion, a move hailed by some IMF members.
As it did during the 2009 financial crisis, I welcome the IMF's current efforts to make additional SDRs available to member countries. This will allow our countries to have the fiscal capacity to respond to the urgent needs of our populations.
World leaders are hoping these initiatives will enable African economies to invest more public spending in fighting the health crisis, including speeding up vaccination drives, a move that will help economic recovery in the long run.
And turning to North Africa now, Tunisia's economy minister has said that he expects ongoing negotiations with the International Monetary Fund to conclude within 3 months, according to state news agency TAP. Tunisia has been in deep economic crisis since the 2011 revolution and is seeking €4 billion in loans from the IMF. The international body has been urging the government of Tunisia to push through economic reforms. The head of Tunisia's central bank and the finance minister travelled to Washington earlier this month to start negotiating with the IMF. And with that, let's take a quick check on the markets now and the fairly quiet day on Wall Street this Tuesday, with stocks moving between small gains and losses. As you can see, earlier it was a mixed picture. Now they're all below the flat line, deeper into negative territories. Shares of retail giant Walmart, though, rose more than 2% after it reported better than expected financial results for the first quarter of this year, thanks to strong growth in online shopping. European markets earlier ended the day on a mixed note, with Paris and Frankfurt dropping below the flat line despite optimism over post-pandemic reopening of the economies. Telecoms giant Bouygues fell almost 1.5% after it said it would spend €641 million to consolidate a planned merger between its TF1 television channel with smaller rival M6. Turning to some other business headlines of the day for you now. Amazon is reportedly in talks to buy MGM Studios for $9 billion, a move that would bolster its streaming business. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer is one of Hollywood's most famous and historic studios, known for its roaring lion logo. The retail giant now has 175 million users worldwide for its Prime Video service, and the deal would give them access to a host of blockbusters like the James Bond franchise and The Handmaid's Tale. Japan's economy contracted more than expected in the first 3 months of the year, slipping back into negative growth at an annualized rate of minus 5.1%. Weak consumer spending was the main cause amid tighter COVID-19 restrictions. The country is facing a worsening fourth wave of infections, with the state of emergency recently extended to the end of May and expanded to more cities. And Eurostar has secured a €290 million lifeline to keep its trains running. The COVID-19 pandemic had pushed the company to the brink of collapse as travel curbs massively reduced its traffic. It's currently only running one train per day across the English Channel and another between Amsterdam and Brussels. The rescue package is made up of bank loans and cash injection from shareholders, including French rail operator SNCF. And finally from me, Italian supercar maker Lamborghini has announced a plan to go electric, but gradually. The company laid out a roadmap that would see it transition to hybrid models combining electric motors, powerful batteries with internal combustion engines. It aims to cut CO2 emissions by half in the next 4 years, then to launch a fully electric car in the second half of the decade. Lamborghini says it's spending €1.5 billion for this transition, the largest ever investment in its history. And that's it for me for now.
Thank you very much indeed, Yuka Roya. Thank you for bringing us up to speed on all that.